Welcome back, everybody. This time we're doing nice art critique because I guess the mean art critique was a bit too toxic for people, and I just want to make a bit of a statement. I got no big things to say, but I will say that we didn't make it clear that last time. Those were submissions for people who wanted to get roasted. I said, if you want to get roasted on my Discord, make a submission, and then we did just that. I wish I would have made that clear. As for people who thought it was too mean, I'm of the position that critique is critique, and when it's a bit, it's a bit. But I wasn't the only person on this video, so Curtis, take it away.
Yeah, so the whole video had been planned beforehand, and I can understand how people that aren't part of the Discord server would not have the appropriate context to know that the whole thing was an intentional exaggeration of behavior for the sake of mostly entertainment, but then as a secondary purpose for education. So usually I hate being critical of other people's artwork, and I know that CG is mostly the same in some fields, although we divert on certain contexts. But I hate being critical with artwork, and I never ever provide criticism for someone that doesn't specifically ask for it, because I am of the belief that encouragement is a very essential ingredient, especially for new learners when it comes to developing their skills. But here's the thing: the majority of my audience is so used to me giving positive feedback. They've never ever been able to have the entertaining experience or the banter side of seeing me give harsh critical feedback. So I thought it would be an interesting opportunity to join along with this idea where people had voluntarily submitted artwork to be roasted. They specifically wanted the artwork to be roasted. For me to take the opportunity to show people what it would be like if I did give harsh criticism. Now that's the key point about it being voluntary, because when CG Matter put the announcement out on the server, people were sending their artworks and specifically saying next to it, roast me. Everyone wanted to be roasted, and we only chose people that said that. So no one random was chosen. This was a completely planned thing, and it was an exaggeration. That's not our natural state. That's not our natural personalities. It was just to make those people smile, basically.
Curtis and I really are yin and yang on this whole PR thing. I'm a PR nightmare. Curtis is an angel. I think we can offset this with some nice critique. So rules are, boys, only nice things. I don't want to hear maybe fix that, maybe fix this. It has to be positive, or it's not good, and we'll also give ratings in the end. So everybody make sure you're in the Art Critique Picks text channel, and we're going to start off with Liam Rotor with the first render. Anybody got anything to say?
Yeah. I like the very volumey, like the particles in there and the volume atmosphere. It really makes it look like this really nice sci-fi television scene.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a massive fan of that sort of stuff, and also the emission and hard surface. It doesn't matter what it is, and also just like red and blues go so well together in these types of artworks. So I love that sort of backing lighting there.
True. This color choice is excellent.
I think the depth of field is very well done. It's easy to overdo, but in this case, the foreground is just a very nice blur, and that kind of focal point is nice and crisp without anything being out of view or overly blurred.
Now, nobody mentioned this yet, Liam, but I noticed. I can tell that I think most of your texturing work is procedural. It kind of looks like you plugged in Voronoi into something else. That's how you create these circuity patterns. And if that is the case, you are working the smart way. Procedural is the way to go. You've probably saved a lot of time on that, Liam.
I think that's Manhattan, if I'm not mistaken, and then you do some parameters that really crunches those lines together. It's one of those. I've done that exact texture before, and it's like the best way to get like a motherboard thing procedurally.
Yeah, I saw this used quite a bit in last November, and it really does look super awesome. And there were some people that could really turn that effect into some incredible things being displaced out of circuit boards. So I think that's
definitely. And I will say, this is super faint, but if you look at the red light bottom left, you can see that tiny bit of dispersion. A lot of people put too much dispersion, but that's tasteful. You can barely notice it, which is what you want. Yeah,
there's actually dispersion all over the entire rim of it. If you look at the edge, like the grating on the bottom right, that's all dispersion. I think that's the lens distortion node.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10.
I'll give this one a 99 out of 10.
Whoa.
Okay.
I'm going to give this one an 8.9 out of 10.
Not very positive, Curtis.
So negative, dude.
Okay, let's move on then. Drunk Fox, second submission. This is more so in Ducky's ballpark, I think.
Yeah. Super cool. I like it's just like all 80s vibe stuff. I like the floor specifically. It doesn't look cheap. It actually looks really, really good with that car in the middle and all that stuff. It's super cool.
Obviously, color choice. You didn't like. I feel like if you added any other color, it would just kind of like mess with it. But you have a strong color theme that doesn't like. There's no like awkward part of this. It's all nice and blends together.
Yeah, I will say you have specifically chosen my favorite color range, so
True.
automatically I can't say like anything wrong about this.
Composition's good. Symmetry's good. I mean, I wonder if he modeled the car because that's real hard to model. I can't model anything like that.
I would assume that's a downloaded model, but
And
regardless,
he picked a good one. He downloaded a very good model.
yeah,
Good choice.
I love the inclusion of the columns. It's like a very strong nod to the whole synthwave or vaporwave aesthetic, rather. I like that.
Okay.
And if the
I'm
car,
gonna.
if the car is
yeah.
downloaded, I definitely think that's a good idea. Save yourself the time, download a car.
This guy knows how to work smart, and that's important.
Remember, guys, don't work hard, work smart.
Okay, I'm gonna drop an 11 out of 10.
I'm gonna drop a 9 out of 10.
I've got to go for a clean 10 out of 10.
Oh, I'm the negative one.
What do we got? We got the Youngster. That's a cool name. Something nice right off the bat. It's that name.
Oh,
This is awesome. I can't tell if it's all in 3D. It almost looks like you took some 3D and composited it. Regardless, well put together.
the mood of this one, I really love it. And the color, it's like the color range doesn't divert too much, but I think that's really good here because you get the sort of sunset vibe feel about this. I love it.
Yeah, speaking of
It's
mood,
definitely
this
very-
photo literally calms me.
It's definitely very difficult to balance that kind of dark look and have it not look just completely too dark. So I think it is, the colors are spot on, with light and shadow kind of defining those shapes, but maintaining the kind of moody, dark look.
Yeah, I'll also say in terms of like story and mystery, I like how they've gone for what is essentially a desert island vibe with like this singular palm tree and a bunch of sand and a lone character. But look, they're in a spacesuit. So what's happened? I want to know.
And obviously there's a gradient here from bottom to top, red to purple, but it's not like done in a cheesy way. Like it goes from object to object to object. Like even the astronaut or whatever is red since he's on the bottom. I think that's an interesting way to do it. Great color, great composition. That little I don't know what to call it, like the stuff on the lens, like the little lens flare maybe.
Oh yeah,
think
that's
interesting.
like that's stuff you would get on like the sensor of a lens. That's
Just
dusty.
to spit on it or something. Which I wouldn't do because this is a super nice render. I would not spit on it. I'd do the opposite. So anybody else? What about the moon? Anybody got an opinion on that?
Looks
I
like a
think the
moon.
moon is it's essential to the composition. I think that it would be very easy to have built this render without the moon, and I think that it would be completely lacking if that was not there. So I think it was really smart to add that, compositionally, and then as well as kind of help tell the story of what that astronaut's looking at.
It's all, yeah, I was about to say it really helps the composition of him. Like his head is looking at it like, oh,
Yeah,
that's where I was.
Yeah, it's looking in the exact right direction. And on the matter of it being slightly blurry, well, I'm partially short-sighted anyway, so that's exactly what the moon looks like to me. So 10 out of 10 for realism.
And
One more thing
for Curtis's vision.
One more thing before I rate this. I will say, just in general, this is just minimalistic in every way. But if you look at some areas, he included tiny bits of detail that just don't overwhelm it at all, like the little pebbles on the like dune sand stuff. I like. But either way, because of this, I'll give it a 12 out of 10.
Oh, I do want to add as well, just on that point about it not being overwhelming. When people do terrains, a lot of the time I see that they try and break up the horizon line really strongly for the sake of interest, but they haven't done that here. They've kept it like really mellow, so I appreciate that. So I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, easy.
This might be everybody's favorite render so far. Okay, Yonster again. I like that he has the courage to submit multiple times. I think that's cool. We got
Insert Vine reference.
I'm not up. Oh, is that the squeaking?
Yeah.
Like you push 100 chickens and they make that screaming sound.
Yeah. This is where they come from.
I like this. I don't know if I've actually seen anyone put those chickens in a 3D render before, so I think this has a bit of an original feel to it, which I appreciate.
What I like the camera angle specifically, like the Dutch angle.
Mm.
That looks really cool.
Makes it look kind of like haunted. Something spooky's going on.
Like one thing I learned in film school is if you have like those really cool diagonals, it kind of makes like a tension rather than it being like flat. And doing that really makes the render look a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Like something's going on.
And how can I not like emissive lines on a hard surface structure? I do that all the time. It's wonderful.
And the emission is exactly where it's supposed to be. The emission is where you want your eyes drawn to these like, what do you call it? Not vases. Vessels?
Fats.
Yeah.
Chicken soup
Tubes.
Containers.
This is where they make the chicken.
The bubbles are really done in there. I mean, I think it could be hard to tell what those were without having that, those bubbles, a little bit of refraction going on with the background. I think that's nicely done.
Yeah.
Color choice, obviously. Nobody mentioned it, but I mean, obviously, nice green.
It looks yellow to me.
Okay, you know what? I like the ambiguity. Different people could look at this and see different things. It could be green, it could be yellow. That's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, kind of looks blue,
Yeah, dude, true.
It's like the color of the dress. I bet you if you share this in the right place, it'll go viral.
There hasn't been a photo like that in a while, like something controversial that splits people. There was that audio thing, like Yanny or Laura. I missed those.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Anybody else? The modeling's pretty good, honestly. Like good hard surface.
Yeah, I like how they've got like a separation of areas where there's fewer details and then areas where there are dense details, rather than trying to just occupy the whole scene with fine, like dense details. Will get so complicated like very quickly. I like that this has more of a balance.
I give this render a 1 out of 1. That's full score.
I'd give it a 3 out of 3.
Oh, 3 out of 3.
Can I give it a 20 out of 19?
Yes. I'm going to give this one a Laurel out of Yanni.
Oh.
Ooh, that means 1 out of 1. That's pretty smart. I say we do 2 more since we got to do the podcast. So let's do the Batman one and then the one after that. So I was advised to maybe... doesn't matter if I say this word, do you think?
I don't know what you're going to say.
Okay, Oxy. My boy Oxy has a very, very realistic looking Batman render.
I'm curious.
Skin's hard to get right.
If he did everything... If he did everything we're seeing here, that's incredible. This is a really good render. I like that. Specifically, I like the shading. Because I'm a big shading nerd. And just looking at all the little details and little scratches and the distressing, it looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, the material reads extremely clear. Got like that kind of rubbery, like hard, but like I imagine exactly, Batman's mask would feel.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail, and it feels like they do have a good material variety going. Because I know when you're doing this kind of artwork, it's so easy just to fall into the route of making one material for a specific like physical material type. They could have just done like one rubber, one metal and stuff like that. But you can see that there's a variety of like a rubbery cloth going on for this armor. Yeah. And so I really like that.
Not to mention that skin. That's hard to do, and he nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I will say that the lighting's pretty interesting. It's like this high contrast thing, and he decided to make one eye, very visible, and the other one's like completely in shadow. I don't know if he was going for Urshi, was going for like some kind of super mysterious vibe, but I dig it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention with the lighting too, it is really hard when you've got something that's all one color like this, where the render is mostly black. You have to rely very heavily on the lighting, and I think it's well done here.
Yeah, for real, this is excellent. and I'm mainly focusing on like the flesh skin part of it. That part's crazy. And also, of course, all the other stuff, like Ducky was saying, all the, what's it called? Surface imperfections. That's what it's called. Mm. Okay, honestly, 1,000 out of 1.
Agreed.
It's too good. I can't give it a rating. It won't do it justice.
Like, I could not make this no matter how long I tried. That's how I feel about it. Okay, one more. We got Tom L with a medieval render, or maybe
Thomas
not medieval.
Laura. My favorite thing is your signature.
Oh, that's tasteful. Yes. Putting it in the corner. There's been issues with that in the past with people like integrating it into the render, but this is tasteful. It's not overpowering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very good. Also, you've got quite a good font choice there for your main name, and having the signature just above that, it looks really professional. So I love that.
Yeah. Other than that, the render's terrible, but we like your signature.
Excuse me.
No, the render is lovely. I
The
really,
color
I really
choice is good.
like the lighting here.
It
Yeah,
almost looks
especially that
like,
rim light.
almost looks like there's a little bit of motion blur going on in like the bottom part of the blade,
Let me
but I
see.
can't totally tell.
Maybe you're just expecting to see motion. I don't see blur, but it does feel like it's a very lively render.
Yeah. And good texturing on the blade itself. I don't know if that's supposed to be blood or rust. Regardless, it's very carnagey looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So here's evidence of genius here. So I know that how some people overuse the depth of field to hide parts of their scene that aren't as great, right? But this person, you can clearly see the imperfections on the door there, like the chipped away wood, maybe it's rotted away and stuff. And it's pronounced enough that you can actually notice it through the depth of field. And I think that's really good because it helps to accentuate the axe in the foreground as well, especially with the highlighting on the left side of the axe there. Just because with the orange light on the right there, you wouldn't be able to see necessarily the back of the top of the axe. So a lot of thought has gone into this, and I really appreciate it.
Curtis, I'm gonna take it one step further. What if this depth of field is trying to tell a story? What if there's like all the exits to this area, like the ladder, the door, all the exits are kind of like out of focus. It's not a possibility. This dude got murdered, and there's no escape. Like honestly, I do get that vibe a little.
Yeah. Also, I really, really appreciate how they've done the splinters coming out of the wood where the axe is going in, because I don't think many people would think about that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, a lot of detail, a lot of work went into this.
Beautiful render. I give this
10 out of 10.
axe out of axe.
Yes.
Just, I don't know where to begin.
Where do you begin?
Give a detail out of detail.
I'm going to go 1 billion out of 1,000,000.
Ooh,
That's
a
big.
1,000 to 1 ratio. Okay, that's the last one since we need to start the podcast. Thank you, everybody, especially I think all from Ducky's community for submitting. I hope that this was wholesome, and if people are mad at this one, I don't know what to tell you guys. I do not know what to tell you guys in that case, but there you go. Nice art critique. Thank you, Ducky. Check out Ducky. Thank you, Curtis. Check out Curtis. Thank you, Derek Elliott. Check out Derek Elliott. And for Curtis, I meant Curtis Halton. For Ducky, I meant Ducky 3D. Okay, there we go.